like it.
Yeah, no sitting, Rich. There's no sitting. Brought your boxed water. I think a lot of people are still in the club. Were you at the club?
No, I drank way too much wine.
Okay, well, that'll make it even better. So we're going to do this part in the interruption. Basically, it's going to be a minute long, and there'll be a topic, and then, per topic.
Right.
Now, the whole thing's a minute.
Not right, exactly. It's super speed.
But beforehand, super frothy market out there.
Insane.
So what's going on here? We're seeing enormous investments in BuzzFeed and Vox and.
Well, yeah, but I think you're looking at it the wrong way. You're looking at who's getting the investment.
Yeah.
The question is what's causing it, and it's all the big guys finally panicking because they've had their head in the fucking sand for like the last 10 years and like holy shit, now we have to overpay for everything. I mean, I think to me that's what I think is going on.
Okay. Good. All right. Well, let's get into it. You ready?
Please, let's go.
All right. Major? Well, he's not actually. He's back there. If you could set the clock to a minute. All right. Native.
Okay. Most overused, undefined, confusing word from an agency and a client perspective of all time. And I really think people need to define native and need to make a differentiation between sponsored content and branded content. And to me, the real opportunity is in branded content, not sponsored content.
Explain the difference.
Okay, sponsored content is content that's created by the editors, and then you're surrounding that with like a brand's messaging outside of it. Branded content is the minute you're actually taking and creating content on behalf of that brand that is actually directly into the editorial that you're putting out there. And to me, that's where all the money is, and I think that's also solves for, and not to skip ahead, but it's organically when you solve for branded content, you solve for viewability problems, you solve for other ad blocking problems and other things as well like that. So that needs to be contemplated.
Okay, Major, we need another minute. Again, this is the first time we did this.
No, it's all
right,
good.
this is it.
It's
That's
all
VC-funded new publishers. So I mean,
who's
that
new
means,
publishers?
Well, I mean, we're talking about like the Vox and the BuzzFeeds and Business Insider.
Okay, so people who raised way too much capital.
Okay.
Is what you're trying to say.
People who have jammed as much venture capital down their throats.
It's really nice to be overfunded. I mean, but it causes very bad behavior.
What's the downside to being overfunded, to having $50 million in the bank?
Well, most people have a lot more than 50 at this point, right? But it's you got to give up too much of your company usually, especially if you've raised it early. So you have crazy dilution on that side of things. But also, I think it causes bad behavior. If you have that much capital, you can just buy your way in. You don't have to worry about burn rates. You get it's just land grab situations. And if a greater preponderance of people are actually out there behaving badly, it ruins it for everybody, and it just fucks up the whole landscape.
Okay.
That's my viewpoint.
I mean, is competing in that kind of market really difficult?
It's very difficult because if I'm competing and I have to worry about margins and somebody else doesn't because they've raised so much capital and no one gives a shit and they're just trying to build the biggest company in the world, and somebody can walk in and give an advertiser three times as much for 1/5, you're going to lose every day and twice on Sunday. It's just bad behavior.
Okay. You're good at this. All right.
I'm working.
We need another minute. All right, the ad tech industry complex. It's supposed to be industrial complex, and ad tech's supposed to be two different words. Regardless. Ad tech industrial complex. I don't write the slides.
It's all good. It's all good. The most confusing, fucked up, undifferentiated thing I've ever seen in my entire life. The redundancy is insane. When people sit there, but mine's totally different. And there is no differentiation. To me, that's there's no differentiation. I'll do it in 30 seconds. We'll use it for other things. No differentiation.
Okay.
And by the way, not fantastic products either.
Okay. You're not bullish, I guess.
I'm not. Consolidation. A lot of those people were not to conflate it to the last slide, but they were overfunded, overvalued, and now you're going to start to see all those valuations come down. People are going to get crammed. And you're going to have 4 or 5 players, and that's it.
Becoming cram down. Should be fun. Okay, Major, another minute. All right, Facebook instant articles.
Humongous opportunity and scary at the same time.
Why is it scary?
Well, that you're going to be giving your content to be completely consumed on somebody else's platform within their app now at this point. Now, granted, it's very nice terms with very good rev shares and a lot of control, and you still get credit for your audience. Technically, I keep hearing that they're going to be able to you're gonna be able to continue to own it from a ComScore perspective. We are participating. We did make the choice. I do think, to me, what's scary about it is I think it's a tremendous opportunity on a traffic basis, but I look at what happened with YouTube videos. Like when you first used to put YouTube videos on Facebook, they would do great. When Facebook launched their native player, all of a sudden, if you put, you were completely deprioritized if you started putting up YouTube videos. It was like
Funny how that happened.
Funny. And it's all organic on an algorithm basis. All organic. So my viewpoint is, people who are not going to participate, who have not been chosen to participate, I think there is going to be a massive optimization towards the people that are participating.
Okay, yeah. Facebook will act in Facebook's interest. Okay, Major, another minute, please. Mobile monetization is something that's come up several times. If you look at the challenge board, a lot of people are not really monetizing well.
Well, look, let me say this, and not to make it exclusively about me, but our company, but we were 99% of our revenues in 2012 were transactionally focused, even with some customization, but it was all ad units. By the end of this year, 60% of my revenues will be branded content, sponsored content, video, and integrations, all things that do very well on mobile. If you're just a standard banner-oriented traffic arbitrage and mass player, I think you're going to have a real problem with mobile monetization, just because you're going from 4 or 5 ad units to literally 1 or 2. You have viewability, massive viewability issues, and I think it's just very difficult. And people out there, the mobile ad networks didn't do anybody any favors by going out there with a ton of tonnage and very cheap rates and set the bar very low for mobile very, very quickly. And the only way to overcome it, in my book, is to think about it not from an ad unit perspective, but think about it on integrations, branded content, video, because a pre-roll is a pre-roll is a pre-roll. So combination of whether it's integrations in text or video or pre-rolls, that's the way you're going to have to win on mobile.
Okay, Major, another minute, please.
Did I do good?
Yeah, that was great. All right, ad blockers. It's come up a lot. 3 out of the top 5 paid apps in the App Store right now are ad blockers.
Yep. And they're not cheap. They're like $6.99.
Yeah. So
I've been looking.
Okay. I hope you're not using them.
No, absolutely not. In fact, we have a little fine system going on of anybody who blocks ads from an internal perspective.
Yeah.
So, and we have the cookie jar is filling. Here's, not to be consistent, but ad blocking, by the way, especially against my audience, is a really serious thing. Like we have about, right now, we went from about 8% ad blocking about a year ago to about 21% of our users are now.
How are you tracking that? Are you using like Cagefair or
to be honest with you, I'm not super, like, they just give me the information, and then we try and overcome that. That's not my
Usually
game.
people just make up
That's
an
not,
answer
no,
when I
no,
ask that
well, look,
question.
I'm like, that's not a good growth curve, but again, to be really consistent, I think our solution is not to, and I've seen some really cool stuff, like, I don't know if I think it was Washington Post, where if you go and tried to do it, and it'd be like, don't be a dick, like, don't take, like, I thought it was awesome.
I'm not sure if they said don't be a dick.
Somebody did. Somebody did.
Okay.
Somebody had don't be a dick. It was really good. But I like, for me, we look at ad blocking, instead of trying to solve for something that is going to be inevitable, I think there's going to be people that are going to use it, then why don't you solve it in the right way? And again, not to be painfully consistent, but around branded content and integrations, if you're creating really good content on behalf of advertisers, and people are consuming it and sharing it, you don't have to worry about ad blocking, because they're not blocking the content, they're blocking the ad units.
Yep.
And that's the way we look at it.
Cool. Major, another minute, please. Well, this is sort of redundant, but programmatic.
Yeah,
to be consistent.
I think it's, and I've never been a big fan. I'm not a fundamental fan, because I'm a David Ogilvy guy of changing hearts and minds, and programmatic will never change the hearts and minds of a consumer. However, it's a reality of a lot of dollars, especially on the transactional side. And
are you guys doing like a private marketplace?
We do direct deals, direct premium programmatic, and it's been very successful.
So you like it from an efficiency standpoint, just not from the, as a cornerstone of the model.
It can't be a cornerstone of my business, right? If you're a true content company, I don't think that that's ever going to be the cornerstone. I think it's the icing on a cake, and it could be a really nice piece of your business. But especially now that people are finally using, agencies and clients are finally using programmatic direct on a premium basis very well. They're ready to do it. We've been very successful with it. We have about 5 premium clients where we do like big $1 million plus deals.
Okay, but you're not out on any open exchanges.
Absolutely not.
Okay. I think this might be our last one. Viewability.
Yep. Boy, people got really aggressive with viewability. They came out, I think, before we had measurement right. I give a lot of credit. I think Moat has done a really good job working with publishers, at least with us, to truly come up with a very fair standard. But again, I don't want to live and die by an ad unit. And a lot of these things, a lot of our solutions, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but a lot of, whether it's video content and integrations and branded content and voice, that's where we're going to win, and we organically solve for a lot of these challenges that are out there by having that be a greater preponderance of our business.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of these are challenges to the sort of display advertising. Not
100%. That's exactly it. So, you can choose, like it's like, remember when I think you asked me about programmatic like 4 years ago, and I was like, oh, never do it, right? Like a yuck. and I was like, the choice is sometimes it's not how you participate, but do you want to at all? And like right now, a lot of people are not giving anybody any choice. But if you can steer your business away from having to deal with that as these core issues, then I think that's a better way of looking at it.
Okay, that is it.
Great.
Rich, thank you so much.